Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally doing the video that you've all been asking for. I get requests for this video all the time and I've been meaning to do it for a couple months, an updated one, but I haven't. So here we are, finally filming it. So I'm doing another one of my like closed door book recommendations, no spice romance books videos. I've done 2 of these before. I will link them both below. And I've been meaning to do another one, but it's hard for me to do them super frequently because not all the books I read don't have spice. So I want to find really good books that I really love before I like film a video on it. So I finally have a bunch of recommendations for you. So I'm so excited to film this video, and I will link the other ones below if you haven't watched them. I have other recommendations in those, other authors, things like that. Bear with me, it's probably been a few months since I've read a lot of these, so I might forget the premise, but I'll try to give you as much as I know. But these are all closed door, no spice. I think I have one that's YA, but other than that, all of it is like adult romances. So, shall we get started? I have a few that I own, and the other ones, I don't own them. I read them on my Kindle. I'll put it on the screen. So first, I have Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Juliana Smith, and I also have Per My Last Email that I put in a different video, but this is the first book, and then this is the second book, so I talked about this in my last video. It's a workplace romance, friends to lovers. So cute, I love this. And this one is after that. It's about Luke, and this one, his sister, and his best friend. It's also roommates to lovers, forced proximity, he's a musician, that kind of thing. It is so good. I love Juliana's books so much. She's literally one of my favorite authors, and she just happens to have like closed door, no spice books. Her books are just so good. So this is her most recent release, and she is continuing the series. Like, she's writing more books in the series about the different siblings, and this one is just so good. It was so sweet, so cute. I actually beta read it and then read an arc of it when she was doing arcs before it released, and then it released, and I got the physical copy. She also signed it because she's the best, and it's just so good. So I highly recommend Juliana Smith just as an author. If you're wanting a closed door author and you haven't heard of her, all of her books are on Kindle Unlimited, and they are so good. I highly recommend them. They're just so cute. Like, she's so good at like connection and like emotional depth without there being spice. I love her so much. She's like a sweet friend, but she's also an incredible writer. I love her books. Next, we have another like little kind of interconnected standalone series. You don't have to read these in order, but it's just probably like best because you see all the characters from previous books. This is the Fallen for Franklin series by Gardner. I love her books so much. So it's The Retreat, The Makeup, and then The Duet. I own The Duet because it was my favorite of the series, and I just needed it in my possession because it was so good. So this is a series in Franklin, Tennessee. So the first one is like enemies to lovers situation, the second one is best friends to lovers, and this one is kind of friends to lovers but also a celebrity romance. And if you know me, you know I love a celebrity romance, so I love this one, and I had to have a physical copy, and she was doing signed like copies, and she gave me stickers and signed it, which is so cute. So all of her books are also on Kindle Unlimited, and I just love them so much. It's like her and Julianne are like top authors of mine, and they happen to be closed door, which I love. I love when an author is just such a good writer and her stories just happen to have no spice. Like, it doesn't tone down the romance or the emotional depth or the chemistry. It's still all there, and it's so good. So highly recommend. It's incredible. I love all of her books. This one is my favorite of the series, but they're all so good. Next is a book that I've talked about this author before. I talked about Nora Goes Off Script, which I really loved, and this one is Same Time Next Summer. I have the Aardvark edition, so it's hardcover, but it does come in paperback, and I love this book so much. It's like such a good summer read. Obviously it's not summer, but if you're wanting a summer read that's closed door, I highly recommend her. I also recommend her as an author because I love Nora Goes Off Script, but I've already talked about that. But this one is so good. It's childhood friends to lovers, second chance romance. The descriptions are so good. I love her writing. I love the setting, and it is the perfect summer read. But if you're wanting a summer read right now, pick this up, pick up her books, and she has another summer book coming out next year that I'm very excited about. I got an arc, and I can't wait to read it, so I highly recommend her. She writes amazing books. Anyways, just a good summer rec, and also great chemistry, great emotional depth. That's what I'm here to give you, is hopefully recs that have the chemistry, have the emotional depth. They just happen to have no spice. You know, we don't want cringe. Like, I don't really do cringe very well, so I feel like sometimes when you go to the closed door, no spice, it's cringe. These aren't cringe. Trust me, there is not cringe in these books, in my opinion. So next is one I'm gonna say on my phone because I have a couple books by her, one that I don't own. So this is Perfect Distraction by Allison Ashley. I love Allison Ashley so much. I love her books. They are romances, but they have a medical aspect to them. So I think Perfect Distraction was her first book, and I really love this one. I honestly can't remember what it's about. Wait, no, I do remember. It's about this girl who is like a nurse, but she meets this guy in like his room who is seeking treatment for cancer, and she had also kind of ran into him prior to her shift. It's about them too, but also she didn't like treat him. That was kind of just like the initial like conversation about the treatment. But I really love that book. It was so good, and it is closed door. Would You Rather that I've also read wasn't closed door, but I did recently read The Roommate Pact. It's a recent release, and this is one of my favorite romances of literally all time. It is so good. I'm obsessed with this book, literally obsessed, and I actually won a giveaway where the author sent me an arc that she annotated. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to read this book or reread this book. But I will say this is the closest to open door. Like, it's not open door, but there's a lot of innuendos. There's a lot of talk about physical things. You're just not seeing it on the page. So I would be wary of that because it is closed door, but it's not going to be as mild, I would say, as the previous books I've talked about. But it's one of my favorite romances of all time. I loved it so much. It's like forced proximity, roommates. He's a firefighter. She is a like nurse, an ER nurse. And it's just so good. I highly recommend this. I love Alice and Ashley's books. They're so good. And this is her, you know, recent release. One of my favorite romances of all time. So I loved it so much. Next, the last one that I own is a YA book, and that is Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This just recently released, but I would say that it does read more adult. Like, I almost think this book is, it reads like it's an adult book with no spice with teenagers. Like, it doesn't necessarily feel YA. Like, when I'm thinking YA, I'm thinking like Lynn Painter. This isn't giving that, but I did want to mention it because it does have no spice, and I did enjoy it. It's kind of like Rivals to Lovers with two chess players, and I really did enjoy it. My favorite part was the main guy character. The main female kind of bothered me at times, and also I feel like it was kind of slow at the beginning, but overall I did enjoy it, and I wanted to mention it because most people love Ali Hazelwood's books, and I also love her books, and this is her YA debut. So if you're wanting like a YA closed door from Ali Hazelwood, I do recommend this. Also, the sun is just going in and out. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, now the rest I don't own, so I will put them on the screen. So we have A Cross Country Wedding by Courtney Walsh. This is after A Cross Country Christmas, and it's about two best friends, like best friends to lovers, and it is really cute. So it's basically like a road trip across the country, really cute. I love Courtney Walsh's books, and I mentioned her before, so I do really recommend this one. It's really cute, fun time. I enjoyed it. And then I Think He Knows by Katie Bailey, who I've also talked about before. This is her recent release, and it's celebrity romance, best friends to lovers, and it is so good. My favorite book of hers. I loved it so much. I can't wait for her to come out with another book because I love her book so much. I'm seeing a stink bug on my window. Is it inside? Is it outside? I think it's outside. Yeah, it's outside. Don't worry, guys. The stink bug is outside. I Think He Knows. Loved it so much. I love her books. She's so good at chemistry, emotional depth. Here again, she's incredible. I love her books, and you should read this one. So it's also after So That Happened, and I've talked about her other books in previous videos, or my last one. Anyways, let's move on. So the next one is Sun to Me by Cleopatra Margot. I actually follow her on Instagram, and we like became friends. So I was so excited to read this. She has a couple other books, but this is the only one I've read. And it is like kind of grumpy sunshine. She's a barista. He's like a contractor, works in contract. I don't know. But it's just really cute and sweet. And I really liked her writing and like the scenery. It's very much a summery vibe, but I really did enjoy that one. Then we have a couple hockey romances. So if you want to read Icebreaker, but you don't want to read The Spice, I have some recs for you. These are for you. Desire or Defense and Flirtation or Face Off by Leah Brunner. I really enjoyed these. I liked Flirtation or Face Off more, but both of them are really cute, really sweet hockey romances. I love sports romance, and so I really love a hockey romance. So I do think the found family in this and the like romance in this reminds me a lot of Icebreaker, but there's no spice. They're also in Kindle Unlimited. Desire or Defense is it's more like grumpy sunshine, but there's also like emotional depth with things that are going on in both of the characters' lives and in their past. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. And then Flirtation or Face Off is about Colby. I remember his name because I really liked him. He is like obsessed with this girl. Literally forgot her name. Anyways, he's obsessed with her, and you see it in Desire or Defense. Like, he's like pining after this girl, and she's not giving him the time of day. And so that is the romance in this one. I think she's also a teacher, like a professor. I don't know. Her name's Noelle. She was a college history professor. So yeah, she was a professor, which I really enjoyed. I love this one. I thought it was so good. Colby was just so sweet. He would do anything for her. Like, he had a reputation of being like a player, but he wanted Noelle, and he wasn't gonna stop because he really was into her. So really enjoyed it. It was so cute, so good. Highly recommend. And I think she's coming out with another one after this in the same series. And I also think there's a novella, which I bought on my Kindle, but I haven't read yet. So really enjoyed these. Highly recommend if you're wanting a hockey romance. That's gonna remind you of Icebreaker. Really enjoyed The Found Family. So good. Next is Hello Stranger by Catherine Center, which is her recent release. I've recommended The Bodyguard before, which I really enjoyed, but this one is about this girl who gets in an accident and she gets like facial blindness. You just follow her. There's a little bit of a romance. A lot of people say it's like women's fiction, but I really enjoyed it. There's I feel like there's a good amount of romance, and I just really like her books. I did like The Bodyguard more, but I did really enjoy this one, and it's no spice. So I really enjoyed the books that I've read by Catherine Center, and I want to read more of them. And then lastly, we are on the last one. Look at me go. The last one is The Good Part by Sophie Cousins, which just released, and I read an arc of it a few months ago and loved it so much. It was so good. I highly recommend any of her books. Honestly, I only have one that I haven't read, but this one was so good. It's about this girl who basically she's like in her 20s, she's just not thriving. And one night she stumbles upon this wishing machine and she wishes to be in the good part of her life. And she wakes up like 16 years in the future with a husband and kids, and she's like, what's going on? And you just follow her, and it is so good. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I always learn a lot in her books, and they're just really good. So highly recommend. It's more of like an emotional romance. Well, not too emotional, but it's definitely not a rom-com, but I did really enjoy it. It was just so good. I literally like bawled my eyes out at the end. I don't know. I cry a lot when I read books. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to have a physical copy, but I haven't got one yet. So this is the cover. You should go read it. It's so good. But I think that's it for all of my closed door book recommendations in this video. I want to film these more, but I also want to find really good like closed door book recs that I really loved that I want to talk about. So hopefully I'll film these more often. But for now, that's all the recs that I have. I hope you enjoyed. If you're new here, thank you for being here. I am so happy and so thankful that you're watching my video. And I have a couple more of these videos if you want to watch them. I'll link them below. But I think that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon for my next one. Bye.